Well, let's do CoreWeave first.
Yeah, I'm big on CoreWeave. I've been talking about that for the past 6 months. It feels like ever since we went to Nvidia's headquarters and saw the role that CoreWeave was going to play. For those who are not familiar with what CoreWeave does, they specialize in cloud platform based on GPU accelerated. So, right, they create the cloud service for GPUs and they rent that to companies. And so, why is that important? GPUs are very expensive. In fact, Nvidia's GPU is now $45,000 for Blackwell. Not many people can buy that in bulk. When we're talking about these machines, we're talking about hundreds of GPUs inside of them. And so you're talking millions of dollars. And so what is a way to cut down on that cost? Well, you can rent it. And that's what they do. Nvidia actually has 20% of CoreWeave's company. They provide them with the chips. And so every year that the new chip comes out, the old one becomes now part of their product rollout. And it's been working for them. In fact, you saw them fall back. Obviously, they're still in that 6-month phase since IPOing. They pulled back a little bit, and then Microsoft reported, and all of a sudden you saw CoreWeave run up. Well, if you look at CoreWeave's biggest client, it's Microsoft, right? They have Microsoft, they have OpenAI, Meta's a client, IBM's a client. And so this model is working. Do I like it long term? That I'm not sure about just yet, because you'll have competition. It becomes that number two theory again, right? Like there are certain corporations and firms that can afford GPUs at that level, right? They can afford the cloud service from AWS. They can afford Azure. And then you have these mid-tier companies that might not be in that price point. And so now, exactly. And now and so they have to have an AI component, like we said, or they're going to be dormant. CoreWeave now steps in this lane as an opportunity for them to still compete, not at the highest level, right? Like they're not going to have the newest chip, but they have chips that they can perform and create on their platform. And so I like the idea of it. Long term, I'm interested in seeing if who steps inside that space as well, and now also becomes a cloud service that rents to companies, because that's not something that they own, right? The fact that they have Nvidia is a huge benefit, but what happens when somebody does that with AMD, right? Like you can see that becoming competitive. But as long as AMD, Nvidia is in their corner, it's 20% ownership in it. I mean, they should be good here in the near future.
It's a great investment. Yeah, I like CoreWeave. I don't know if it's top 12 of things that I would invest in. Good company though. I agree with everything you said. I think the pullback is reflective of what we talked about. But definitely a good company. I'll put them probably like in a B or high C tier list of stocks.
Yeah, I put them in. They're right with my HubSpot. They're in that same category. That Salesforce is for the elite, and then you got mid-tier with HubSpot in terms of CRM, and now you have Azure and you have AWS and Google Cloud for a certain extent. Oracle's in that space now, and then CoreWeave is that next tier.
Yeah.
What about Figma?
I like Figma as a company, but my rule is always you have to wait 6 months to let everything, let the dust settle. Hell of a run up. IPO'd at I think 84, went up to 150, but it's back down at 93 and some change. To everyone who invested early, congrats to you. But I have to wait 6 months before I'm willing to look to buy in long term. There's a lot of talk about it being an Adobe killer. I'm not sure about that, but I do think as a result, Adobe is going to have to figure out their business model and pricing structure going forward, because they have too much competition in terms of them, Canva, just AI in general. I am worried about what Adobe is going to do to re-strategize and how to restructure the business with so many competitors coming into the landscape.
Okay. And last but not least, what about TerraWulf?
I haven't looked into TerraWulf enough yet to have a great assessment on it. Give me till 2 weeks from now, and then I can do like a thorough breakdown. I know it's caught a lot of interest, but for me, I've only been focusing on the companies that I know for the next 10 years are going to be dominant or are in that B tier that have probability of creeping in. I think TerraWulf is a little bit too new, but give me about 2 more weeks, and then I'll give you a full assessment on it. But a lot of these problems go away by focusing on quality. The high of them was good, but I don't see them being in the top tier. I know it's at a cheap price right now, but Give me 2 weeks and I'll give you a full breakdown on that.
Yeah, we should do a B tier of stocks. You know, like they got the Division 1 teams and you got Division 2. Like, yeah, people like, well, what these are good companies, they're just not A tier yet. Some of them will never get to that level and they're not designed to be at that level.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they can't be good investments.
A Salesforce B tier?
Salesforce is A tier.
Bottom of the A tier.
Bottom of the A tier, yeah.
Okay.
What will be the
where's AMD for you?
Well, Apple.
But you didn't say
sometimes you gotta look when God give you the sign. No, AMD, all jokes aside, AMD is not Nvidia, but AMD is still A tier for sure.
Yeah, I think you should the copy and paste on that. It's like, yo, I don't know what they want you to say. You said Nvidia, okay. You said things about AMD, okay. You're not gonna be 100% right every time. Get over it.
But even with that, I'm like, this is the part with clip culture. I've been in AMD since 2017 personally.
It's like
so AMD is not Nvidia. I don't give a fuck what y'all say.
No, that's A plus tier.
There's nowhere near close. If you go look, I was talking about AMD on Market Mondays in 2021. I know y'all want to ride the wave, and certain stuff I'm not falling for no more. Whatever you say, you right, you got it.
You got it.
You right.
You know, what's crazy is during that segment, and I know it was on Blackout when Trump was talking about trying to get rid of Nvidia. We used to say that they were 85% of the GPU market. He said that they were 100% of the GPU market. Like, wait, when did this happen? When he woke what? Up in his mind? Mm-hmm. I guess he didn't know. Yeah, but yeah, they're creeping into the 90s now in terms of market share, which is that's good for Nvidia investors. For sure. I'll say that.